political leaders will roast Clearwater Mayor Frank Hibbard in the style of the Dean Martin and Comedy Central roasts. It's going to be an evening of nonstop laughs with lots of good-natured one-liners aimed at Mayor Hibbard. Each person gets an admission to the event, a drink ticket, a 3-course steak dinner, and the hilarious roast program. All the net proceeds will be donated to nonprofit charities of the Homeless Empowerment Program and Ruth Eckerd Hall. Sponsors of the Roast of Frank Hibbard are Baycare Morton Plant Hospital, Duke Energy, Clear Sky Restaurant, and Provise Management Group. Seating is limited. For reservations for the Roast of Frank Hibbard on the evening of May 20th, contact Ruth Eckerd Hall at 727-791-7400, rutheckerd.com, or visit the box office. It's going to be an evening of 791-7400.
Hi, this is Lizette LaForge of Beacon Windows. Are you tired of struggling with your sliders? Don't replace, refurbish. We keep you on track. Our business is on a roll. And I don't care what your problem is, I can get a handle on it. Not only do we make your sliders work nearly like new, but we also specialize in water intrusion when there's water sneaking underneath the track and maybe going to your neighbor below, or maybe you're being leaked on. So when you get a chance to give us a call, call us at 727-493-2644. Keep us in mind whenever your sliders are giving you any trouble. Beacon Windows, 727-493-2644 or www.sliderrepair.com. Don't replace, refurbish. Sliderrepair.com, 727-493-2644. Beacon Windows.
Hey, did you know there's a live psychology talk show Thursday and Friday at noon where you can call in and get free guidance and also learn several different topics relating to ending the stigma on mental health? It's called Moments of Clarity on WTAN 1340 AM. It's with licensed therapist Tiffany Warner, who will try to end the stigma on mental health. But the only way you can do that is to listen to Moments of Clarity Thursday and Friday at noon on WTAN 1340 AM, the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Are you a writer, inventor? Do you have questions about your intellectual property rights? Well, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 o'clock for Joy on Paper. Once a month, I will have a special guest, the writer's legal eagle, Bill Larson of Larson & Larson, who can answer your questions. Protect your valuable work. Email me your questions to patsy.radio@gmail.com and then listen in every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. right here on Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network. That's patsy.radio@gmail.com.
Hi, I'm Dawn Reese, and I have an awesome deal for you. Do you want Splash Harbor water tickets or maybe a 3-day cruise on Carnival or $100 cash? I have more gifts. How about a vacation stay for 3 days or a resort condominium for 7 nights? All you have to do is text me at 727-871-7788. Again, 727-871-7788. And the vacation tour is in Indian Rocks Beach, Florida. You have to be between 26 and 75 years old. Great deal.
I don't think it's a truck at all. I think we just found a transformer.
This is Optimus Primer Button, leader of the auto part junkies. And I'm calling on all auto parts junkies to listen to nostalgic radio and cars every Tuesday at 7 p.m. here on Tan Talk. This is Optimus Primer Button. If you don't tune in, it will be the end of the world.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk, entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
Hello, rock and roll fans. I'm honored to be standing inside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, surrounded by those who've received rock and roll's highest honor, the artist whose music changed our lives. And I'm here to announce our 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. It's a diverse group of extremely talented individuals and bands who've had a significant impact on rock and roll, the music that connects us all. Thank you to our voting body and to all of you who have participated in the fan vote. And now, here is the 2022 class of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees. In the performers category, Pat Benatar, Duran Duran, Eminem, Eurythmics, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, and Carly Simon. In addition, we're honored to induct the following in these special categories: Judas Priest, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis for musical excellence, Alan Grubman, Jimmy Iovine, and Sylvia Robinson as our Amit Erdogan awardees, Elizabeth Cotton and Harry Belafonte for early influence. Congratulations to our newest inductees and welcome to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're excited to celebrate with you on Saturday, November 5th in Los Angeles. Visit rockhall.com and follow us in social media to hear about ticket on sale dates and details about this year's induction ceremony. Tune in to SiriusXM Volume Channel 106 and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Radio Channel 310 to hear conversations and music from these newest inductees. Congratulations to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame class of 2022. Fans, come visit us in Cleveland as we honor our inductees year-round.
Thursday night live here in the Tan Talk Network, downtown Clearwater, Florida. If you want to jump in on this love train, please do at 727-441-3000. That's 727-441-3000. And we're here. We heard all over the Clearwater, Tampa Bay, and St. Petersburg area. So jump aboard, and it's going to be a great show tonight. So if you want to join this love train, please do at 727-441-3000, or you can listen live on www.tantalknetwork.com or the Chapters Rap with Steve Accoun's Facebook page or YouTube channel. We're here every Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m., and tonight we have a great show. But we had to honor the bands and the musicians and the performers that made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know, we're still waiting for Foreigner to get in there, and one day they will get in there. Foreigner forever. I'm a Foreigner guy, and Lou Gramm, Mick Jones, and the original members of Foreigner deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And there we go. That's me spreading the word that we need to get Foreigner into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And just so you know, next week we have Ricky Byrd, who was Joan Jett and the Blackhawks lead guitarist. He is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He will be on our show next week. You don't want to miss that. Ricky Byrd is a great, great musician. And guess what? He gives it back. He's been sober, clean and sober for over 33 years. And all his music looks at addiction and helps young people. He mentors young people to stay away from drugs and alcohol. So Ricky Byrd is a great guy. He's a great musician, and he's also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But Pat Benatar, I am so happy that Pat Benatar has made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because Pat Benatar is a Long Island girl from Lindenhurst, New York, and her and Neil Giraldo have been together for so long, since 1979. We're so honored and happy to see Pat Benatar get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We also want to acknowledge Lionel Richie, who was in the Commodores for the longest time and went solo. And now you see him each and every week on American Idol, who does a great job on that show with Katy Perry and Luke Bryan and, of course, Ryan Seacrest. But 20 years of American Idol. But Lionel Richie also made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Dolly Parton, Carly Simon, the Eurythmics, Eminem. So many great artists have made it in. But one day, we will have Foreigner in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So we wanted to start off with that. But we had a couple of birthdays we have to acknowledge here. Well, we talked about Foreigner. Lou Gramm's birthday was last week, the other day, and May 2nd, Lou Gramm, the front man, Hey, Miriam, you just joined on here.
Yeah, good to see you, Steve.
Good to see you. We're just announcing some birthdays. And Lou Gramm, who's the lead singer and the voice of Foreigner, had his birthday yesterday. So we want to acknowledge Lou Gramm a little bit. we have a little video. I think we're going to pop in a little bit and say happy birthday, Lou Graham.
Yeah, we
And,
got a happy birthday.
Yeah, let's check it out. Or not.
It'll come right up.
It'll come
Sometimes,
right
you
up.
know, technology sometimes just messes up.
That's
right.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you're in the studio in Florida there. I'm in my studio here in New York. So how you been?
Yeah, I'm been pretty good. It's nice to see you. Yeah, I'm in sunny Florida. And how's it going up there, Steve?
It's sunny, but it's not as warm as it there. But but the sun is the sun. We'll take it anywhere we can get it, right?
Yeah, that's true. I love that we're in communication here on the network here at Tan Talk and with you, Chapters Rap, and between New York and Florida is just so awesome.
That's right. That's right. But it's also, it's all about advocacy. As you can see, it's a challenging world around us. And tonight, we have some great guests on the show tonight. Joe Salonika, who is afflicted with spina bifida when he was born, is one of our first guests today. And he's been a dear friend of mine for so long. He has a big fundraiser coming up here locally in New York, and he's going to join us on the show. But you also have some great guests as well, right?
That is awesome. I can't wait to meet Joe.
Yes. Why don't you tell everybody who our guests are tonight?
Yeah. We have Jara Clark joining us again, and she's going to be interviewing Steve Cherubino. He's going to play us a song tonight. And we also have human rights advocate and attorney Carmen Miller. She's in the state of Florida upholding the mental health law down here and helping to improve victims' rights with the law, right? It's all about mental health reform for me. So
That's right. Have you been working directly with her?
Yeah, I've known her for quite a while. One of the things that she talks about in her bio is partnering with Citizens Commission on Human Rights. So I help host that webinar every single month that she does it. And so what she does is just take people through the involuntary commitment law and explain all the different ins and outs, and then how somebody's human rights are actually unfortunately affected by that. And it turns into an unfortunate legal situation sometimes.
That's right. Well, it sounds like she does amazing work. I can't wait to get to meet her. And I guess together you're really changing some ways, or trying to change some ways and some laws, and really advocating for people.
Yeah, I mean, advocating for people is where it's at. You and I totally see eye to eye with that, and right, and aligning and then staying together, and fighting for freedom together on like how to make humanity and better, and then how to help each other is what it's all about. That's actually how you and I met, right, Steve?
Yeah, no, we met only a couple of months ago, and basically when we met, we kind of knew that we were doing kind of similar things in a different road, a different path. And there we are at the Citizens Commission right there in Clearwater. But when we met, it was interesting because you really didn't do too much radio, but I did some radio, obviously. But I knew that your work had to get out there in a different platform.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, you and I just hit it off, right? Because holistic mental health is so important for society.
That's right. So before we get started here, we have another birthday. We mentioned Lou Graham's birthday, but Frankie Valli, one of the shows on the network is Reach Out with Ray and Steve and Robbie. Frankie Valli's musical director, Robbie Robinson, who's been with Frankie Valli for 44 years, who the band is going to be at Radio City here in New York City on Friday night. It's Frankie Valli's birthday. And Anna, our fearless, well, that's Lou Graham. It's Lou Graham's birthday too. We're going to say happy birthday to Lou Graham. That's me and Lou back in the day before a concert when I had my mustache. And
oh my gosh, look at that.
Check it out. Yeah, and it's Frankie Valli's birthday. And Anna actually is a big Frankie Valli fan. And she put this video together with some people from the network, just paying tribute to Frankie Valli, but acknowledging he's 88 years old and he's still touring. Can you believe that?
Wow, that is so impressive. Talk about an inspiring artist right there for everyone else.
That's right. He was just at the Ruth Eckhart Hall on 2 shows a couple of weeks ago. He's going to be at Radio City. But let's check out Anna. Anna's our great engineer behind the scenes. She put this video together. Let's check it out for all our listeners and viewers out there.
She's a superstar.
No doubt. Okay, well, we have, yeah, okay, for you people on the radio, we're trying to queue up the video. I guess we'll have that in a few moments, but we're just acknowledging a few birthdays. We acknowledge people that make it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But Miriam, talk about what your views are and what your thoughts are in upcoming weeks and where your efforts want to be advocating for others.
Well, let's see. I mean, I look forward to when you're down in Florida again, so we can definitely make it out to the group home. But I'm working on that still, getting the first ever wellness program going so we can really bring health to kids. So that's very important to me and near and dear to my heart, because kids, as you know, that are unfortunately sometimes suffering pretty badly in the foster care system don't always have the best health care. So we are working on that pretty steadfastly and sincerely and extremely, very seriously.
And it takes a village, right?
Oh my gosh, does it take a village? Yeah, it really does. It takes like a lot of awareness and educating people about what's really going on in the system, and then, creating a path to do something about it. Because I really think that there's so many good people out there that want to do something about it, right? Kids are our future. So the more we talk about it and the more we kind of shine our light, our good light, Steve, and then people jump on and they want to help.
That's right. We want to say hi to Lenny Randall, who just chimed in. Lenny Randall,
good.
for those people that don't know, he's a former baseball player, but he's an ambassador. He's the most interesting guy in baseball. We're going to have to get him on the show because he does a lot of work in Italy. He works with young people all across the world, and he's been a great friend of ours on the network. And
awesome.
God bless him and his efforts. And Lenny Randall's a great guy. So thank you, Lenny, for chiming in. And but it's the efforts here. Also, last week I spent time, which I do each week, in a domestic violence shelter, and I get strength for some of the women and the children that are there because they are really struggling, but they're fighting the fight. They're trying to overcome some of the challenges and deficits that they face.
Serious obstacles.
Serious obstacles due to domestic violence. And I know there's another show on the network called Kick Unhealthy Relationships to the Curb. And it's very important to advocate and empower women and men to leave those toxic relationships. And sometimes it's very difficult to do that because of all different reasons. But and I know that affects the young people that we work with too, because if you're in a toxic relationship, the relationship you have with your children is going to be affected as well. Would you see it that way?
Oh yeah, definitely. Right. Because kids they're kind of like sponges, right? And they're actually mirroring us. So whatever kids see in their home, then they're going to end up growing up and replicating.
Right. I mean, that no doubt. And when you look at situations in New York and in Florida or different places, the program like Joshua House, let's look at Joshua House that's located right here in Florida. They're working in the foster care system, and there's a lot of pitfalls in the foster care system about where the children are going to be placed, how long are they be placed for, if their siblings are going to be together, if their belongings are there with them, if they're being told where they're going to go, or the education can they get into the school, if they continue to transfer from town to town or from home to home. And I think Joshua House does a great job in trying to maintain stability and offer that support and empowerment for those children. But nevertheless, the system is a very challenging one and at times fails a lot of children.
Yeah, it's true. We definitely need to shine a lot of light on it. And, you're with Joshua House, and I cannot wait to finally go see it with you. And then I've been helping Miracles Outreach for quite some time. And, Miracles Outreach is doing about the same thing. But there are lots of struggles in helping the kids that grow up in group homes or in foster homes. And you got to be like a super duper strong person to survive it. And I don't know if you want to get into talking about it tonight, but I love how your story and my story are so aligned with mental health and our moms, right? Because you have to, in order to rise above like domestic violence or the foster system, you got to be a very strong person to end up giving back.
Right. And, we talked about on the show, about the passion or the genesis of where you started your journey. And I think it started with your relationship with your mom and what you experienced and observed what she went through. And that's definitely the same thing that why I'm doing what I'm doing. At that time, women or people that were diagnosed with a mental illness, there were limited support out there. And it was hard to kind of connect the dots with the folks, and also pharmacological intervention was freely given without any kind of discussion at times. I know that's the case now, and I think that's some of the efforts that you're looking through with the courts and the other advocates that you're working with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would love to see, and I will definitely do my damnedest to make a difference in this area to make sure that kids are able to just have their healthy bodies and no pharmacological interference, right? I mean, a kid, I think, should definitely have a full health checkup, like body checkup, and outrule allergies or food sensitivities or any sort of like organ issues that may be going on before any sort of psychiatric medication could be introduced, because there are most likely, usually, very harmful side effects, and we don't know a lot about that.
Right. And I think it's folks like all the clinicians that are out there, or the advocates or the mentors, or even teachers, to really kind of educate and empower people to understand the pros and cons of anything you put in your body. And I think that's not being discussed freely. I mean, I know we're talking about the country is polarized to a certain degree, and you go through the whole. We're not going to talk about the whole vaccination thing right now.
Yeah, it's pretty polarized. You are right about that.
Yeah, it's very polarized. But there are people that see things one way, and then people that see things the other way. And I don't know if we'll ever get 100% of everybody that's going to see things the same way.
Yeah.
But we have to learn. We have to learn how to coexist, but also do the research and get educated before making a choice in either direction.
Oh, it's so important, right? And unfortunately, we are pretty polarized right now, but that's why I like to keep things in the field of human rights, right? Because human rights has to stay above the polarization, right? I mean, if we could just be kind to one another and, treat others as we would like to be treated, then I think we can, we can get along a lot better. Just stay in the area of human rights, respecting each other.
So when you mention human rights, Miriam, talk about what is the first couple of goals or the first thing you want to get across to people regarding human rights issues at this point.
Well, let's see. The first article is all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. How impactful is that, right? If we can just follow that first one, it would be amazing. We might have peace.
That's right. That's right. I mean, and what do you see? What direction do you see everything going in as far as once you do educate, when you do empower people? I mean, what happens after that when you have to really fight for human rights, and what is the avenue to take for people to support that effort?
I don't know. That's a great question. And I'm so curious to hear what you would have to say about that, Steve. I mean, I think there's responsibility within the human rights that it encourages in a young person or an older person just to read through them and think about how they're all of our rights. Then it kind of gets somebody to look at another person and think wow, well, that's their rights too. Maybe I shouldn't, speaking of domestic violence, maybe I shouldn't be so mean to my girlfriend, or maybe I shouldn't try to steal that car. Or maybe I shouldn't go down the criminal list. Maybe I shouldn't, make that person stay in a mental hospital when they really want to be home with their family. We just get respect for one another, when we think about the human rights and just want to treat each other kindly so that, we get that in return. I think about kind of the thought of karma comes to mind of what we put out ends up coming back to us. So I like that about human rights, is that it, encourages people to be kind.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I mean that's what really needs to happen. This is the Chapters Wrap Wednesday Night Live here. We're here on Tan Talk Network every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. That's Miriam Putnam, and I'm Steve Vaccaro. Miriam's in the downtown studio there in Clearwater, and I'm here in Long Island. And occasionally, we're going to be together. But for tonight and last week, it didn't work out that way. But you know what? I think it's important to kind of bridge the gap on all fronts. And I think we have a mix of people that are listening and watching from New York. We have a mix of people watching and listening from Florida. And we have a mix of people watching from all over the country. So I think it's important to kind of bridge that gap at all times. So if you want to help us here, please do at 727-441-3000. And we want to acknowledge Bobby behind the glass.
Yeah.
Doing a
I
great
know. I was just going to say, Bobby's going to take your call, and he's fantastic, man. He's like the mix master back there, like the big studio engineer. He's got it all under control.
That's right. When we first started this, Miriam, and I told you that there might be a time or two I'm not going to be in the studio, your first reaction was, is Bobby going to be there? And
there he is.
Here with hand on the phone.
There we go, Bobby. We miss you, man. You do great work, not just for this show, but for the whole network. And God bless you, man, because you put everything together. You make the magic happen behind the glass. And I want to thank you, sir, for doing what you do.
I appreciate it. Always a pleasure working with y'all.
Yeah. So this show is about advocacy. And we have our first guest tonight is going to be Joe Salonika. And Joe has an interesting story. He is part of our network, and he's a talk show host. He's a community advocate here in New York and abroad. He works at a program called the Viscardi Center, where he is the basketball coach of wheelchair basketball. But this guy, you're going to learn a lot about him. But I think it's time to learn about spina bifida before we bring him on. Let's check out a little video about spina bifida.
Spina bifida is a condition that develops during pregnancy when the bones of the spine don't form properly, leaving the spinal cord unprotected. There are different types of spina bifida. The most common and most serious is myelomeningocele, identifiable by a bulge that sticks out from the baby's back. The condition leaves the nervous system unprotected and causes spinal fluid to leak into the womb. Spina bifida can cause a number of long-term health complications. Each case is unique, but the location and size of the opening will affect this. The loss of spinal fluid can cause an imbalance in pressure. This can mean the brain moves down into the base of the skull or causes excess fluid on the brain. Arnold-Chiari-2, hydrocephalus, and ventriculomegaly are some conditions affecting brain development, often associated with spina bifida. Spina bifida is normally treated within 48 hours of birth by pulling the spinal muscles together and covering the gap with skin. Current research has shown that closing the gap sooner can help reduce the symptoms and stop the loss of spinal fluid, causing problems with brain development. Sometimes it is possible to have open surgery at around 26 weeks of pregnancy. This will depend on how much the condition is affecting the development of the baby's nervous system and brain. The procedure, performed with the mother under general anaesthetic, uses a method similar to a caesarean section. The surgeons close the gap to cover the baby's spinal cord. Then the amniotic sac and womb are closed to allow the pregnancy to continue. This is an invasive procedure which carries a risk of preterm labour. The mother will need to be monitored in hospital for up to a week following surgery. Keyhole surgery techniques are also being explored as a way to treat the condition before birth. This method uses a patch similar to a skin graft to close the lesion. Whether this improves the outcome for babies with spina bifida is uncertain at the moment. It is also unclear if this reduces the risk of preterm birth. Gift Surge is developing a new multi-armed instrument which should allow the surgery to be performed with only one incision. The hope is that this will reduce the risk of preterm labour and offer better long-term outcomes. As with any surgery, fetal surgery carries risk. In fetal surgery, the main risks are rupture of the membranes and preterm birth. Your clinician will discuss the specific risk of your procedure with you further.
Well, that's a little background about spina bifida, which afflicts so many people around the world. And our first guest tonight, Joe Salonika, who also has been afflicted with spina bifida, but it doesn't let him slow him down. It doesn't hurt his advocacy efforts. He doesn't say, why me? He keeps doing what he does. He is one of my favorite people on this planet because that smile there.
Yeah, how impressive.
He's always smiling. Him and I have done so many great things together, and I admire him. And when I'm having a hard moment, I always think about, what Joe does and what he does for everybody else every day of his life. So without further ado, let's bring on Joe Salonika, my dear friend, and you guys are going to get to meet an amazing guy. Joe, are you there?
I am. Hi, Steve. How are you, buddy?
Good, Joe. How's it going? Say hello to Miriam there, my co-host in Florida.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Joe. It's nice to have you on. Wow, you have like quite a story. And how strong are you?
Thanks for the invitation.
That's right. That's right. Joe, we know each other for a long time. You know my story. I know your story. But can you share a little bit your journey in life to get to this point?
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm 51 years old. I was born with spina bifida. I use a wheelchair to ambulate. I am an employee at the Henry Viscardi School, which educates students with physical disabilities, including spina bifida. I'm a wheelchair athlete, and I've been dabbling in acting and modeling lately for a company called Gamut Management. Despite my disability, I am very active, and I'm not one to really sit home and, feel sorry for myself. And having the opportunity to work at the Henry Viscardi School with children with disabilities, I get the opportunity to kind of show them that even though somebody has a disability, you can still live a full, active, productive, viable life.
It's very impressive. It's super impressive. It's very impressive. I mean, I think that almost everybody listening, Steve, would agree that, like with his story, you can listen to Joe speak, right, Steve, and think like, wow, like I don't have anything to feel bad about myself about. Like if Joe can do it, then I can do it.
That's right. That's right. I mean, Joe.
Actually, a lot of my students say that very thing.
Yeah.
I coach wheelchair basketball at school, and a lot of my students say, if Coach Joe can do it, I can do it.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's very inspiring for me to have these students there, and actually they're young families who are looking at their child that has a disability, whatever it is, and I kind of give them a little bit of hope. Again, if Coach Joe can do it, maybe my kid can do it.
That's fantastic.
So, Joe, when you were younger, did you always have this fighting spirit? Did you always have this ability to overcome the challenge that you had? Or was it something you developed over time?
It's definitely something you develop over time, and but when I was a kid, everything was kind of against me, and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that, and I kind of enjoy people telling me I can't do something. That's a challenge. If you tell me I can't do it, that's a challenge to me, and I'm going to do anything and everything I can to do it. I mean, right from the get-go, when I was born, the doctor that had given birth to me, didn't give me much of a chance. I had the nurse that was in the room with us had known somebody that a doctor that was an expert in spina bifida, and she luckily found him, that very moment in the hospital. And as the current doctor was not really painting a rosy picture for my parents, this new doctor came in and said, listen, I can't promise you anything, but we're gonna do some stuff, and we're gonna do our best to help him live. Here I am, 51 years later, talking to you fine people.
Wow, you call me a fine person. Wow, that's pretty good, Joe. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So
One and
impressive.
only, Steve.
well, there you go. But Joe and I, so Miriam, and all the listeners and the viewers out there, Joe, we had both worked at the Viscardi Center, which is located in Long Island, New York, which is the whole program was started by Dr. Viscardi back in the 50s and early 60s. Joe, can you share a little bit for those people that are not aware of what the Viscardi Center was founded on?
Sure. So Dr. Henry Viscardi Jr. was a man that was born with a disability. His limbs, his lower limbs, were not formed correctly. So he had, I'll say, kind of like stumps for legs. And he wasn't treated very nicely. He wasn't educated properly in his own view and his family's view. So he created the Henry Viscardi School in the name of giving a student with a disability a good, safe, quality education. He did start in 1952 with the center where he taught and trained adults with disabilities. Back in the early 50s, people were coming back from the war, not as they left for the war. A lot of them were hurt and injured, missing limbs, and, they had to readjust to their new life. So Dr. Viscardi gave them an opportunity to do just that. Get back into life, maybe get re-educated somewhere, find a different kind of job. Because now, before the war, they were able-bodied. After the war, they were not. They were disabled. So his first mission was to help adults with disabilities. And then 10 years later, he created the school. And
right, and Joe, we're looking at a picture of you with some young people and smile. Everybody has a smile on their face. And you said you're a coach for wheelchair basketball, and you've been at the Viscardi, correct me if I'm wrong, 26 years now?
29.
29 years. Wow. 29 years that you're giving back to that beautiful community. I'm sure that you've seen so many great stories there. What's the most rewarding aspect of your work at the Viscardi Center?
My most rewarding work is to see the alumni come back and be a success story. They left us, they graduated, they went on to college, they got a job, they started a family, they're driving a car, they're living on their own. All things that, quite honestly, people that, in the able-bodied world don't really think that we as a disabled community could do. So it might be small potatoes for the able-bodied world, but for us, those are gigantic milestones. And being able to see the alumni succeed that way is really very special.
This is the Chapters Route Wednesday Night Live here. We're here every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. Miriam Putnam and I do this show each and every week. If you want to join in, please do. It's 727-441-3000. We're here talking to our amazing guest, Joe Salonika, who's been a dear friend of mine for so many years. So check this out, Miriam. Joe, do you surf, Miriam, at all? Do you surf?
I'm not really good at surfing, no.
Joe, do you surf?
I do surf. I'm not very good at it, but I do get out there.
Oh my gosh, Joe.
Joe, tell us how you surf. Tell us people how you surf and why you do it.
Well, I love the water. I love the ocean. I am a certified scuba diver for just over 20 years. And any excuse for me to get in the ocean is a good excuse. I met somebody here on Long Island that has their own surfing school out in Long Beach, and we had the opportunity to get out on the board one day, and they kind of, took their business and included the disabled population and started teaching people with disabilities how to surf. And the way we surf, depending on your ability or disability, the way I surf is kind of like bodyboarding. I'll kind of, lay on the board on my stomach and just kind of take the wave in that way.
Isn't that amazing, Miriam?
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. You're impressive, Joe. Makes me want to get out there myself.
Yeah, let's go.
There you go.
So wait, Jay, it's not over yet, Miriam. Are you like have you ever been a fashion model, Miriam?
Yeah.
Oh, you have been? Okay. All right, I didn't know that. So Joe is also a fashion model. Did you know that?
I was reading that about Joe.
So how'd that all come about?
Yeah, well, I met a woman at school. She happened to be a guest of my boss, and she said that she worked in the fashion industry, and she was creating a line of clothing for people with disabilities, adaptive clothing. So instead of buttons and zippers and snaps, it's all about Velcro and magnets. And the idea is that it'll give somebody with a disability more independence to dress themselves.
Wow.
And she was putting together a runway fashion show for New York City Fashion Week. And again, I was in the right place at the right time. And she said, hey, you know what? You should be in my show. All right, twist my arm, put me in a show. So they dressed me up in adapted clothing by Tommy Hilfiger. And I cruised down on the runway and had a great time. And through the success of that one show back in 2019, Mindy created her own talent agency called Gamut, Gamut, Gamut Management. And it's an agency in the United States that puts people with disabilities in the entertainment world, whether it's fashion or TV or commercials or movies. In today's world, if somebody is writing something or directing something or producing something, it is our hope that they would use the authentic article. Instead of putting Steve Vaccaro in a wheelchair, they'd use somebody that's actually in a wheelchair that is in the business.
Wow. That is so impressive. And Miriam, how many movies have you been in, Miriam?
No, I haven't been in any movies.
Me neither.
Maybe. I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't remember? Well, anyway, Joe, have you been doing any movies lately?
Yeah, I did. And again, in 2019, being in the right place at the right time, I met a man named Joe Seminary, and he's an up-and-coming writer-director, and he found a small part for me in a movie called Mi Familia 2. It's kind of a gangster Sopranos meets Godfather meets Goodfellas kind of thing. And then he did a YouTube TV show called Tales from the Dark, and he had me star in an episode called Space Trip. And he is currently working on his next project called The Wizard's Book, and I have a part in it. Not exactly sure where I'm going with this role, because we just started filming about 2 weeks ago. So it's all brand new. But I'm happy to be working with Joe again and the rest of his cast and crew. a great group of people.
Wow, it sounds like you're on such a journey.
I'm kind of on a hot streak, not gonna lie.
It's very impressive. And you know, one of the things that sticks. Sorry.
I get to meet a lot of cool people, and hopefully, you know, if somebody else knows of a different project, you know, they could recommend me. But it's fun.
That's awesome.
It's something that I never really thought of. You know, it wasn't a goal of mine. But you know, I've made that promise to me my young life, that if somebody gave me an opportunity to do something, I would always say yes. I always try it.
That's very cool. Do you find that you
play that?
Sorry?
I don't want to play that shoulda, woulda, coulda game.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, let's not live life with regrets. It sounds like you've done a really good job of doing that. You know,
I'm trying.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you?
And even hanging out and working with Steve, you know, he gives me great opportunities to do things and be in places that I never really would be.
Yeah, Steve's a great guy. Steve, that was your shout out. Did you hear that? Me and Joe talking about you.
I'm just taking it in for a moment. When Joe and Miriam were saying what a great guy I am, I have to pause for a moment. But this is the Chapters Wrap Wednesday night live here. We're talking to Joe Salonika. If you want to call in, please do. It's 727-441-3000. If you guys are listening on the radio, Joe is in a wheelchair. He has been predominantly for his whole life, but he is an inspiration to so many people. He's been at the Viscardi Center for 29 years. He inspires everybody there, everybody around him. And if you're listening to this conversation, clearly the guy never says no to anything. He lives life to the fullest. He advocates like nobody else. And he is a total inspiration to me. My friendship with you, Joe, I can't say how much it means to me. And for you to be on this show and the different things that we've done over the years, it's been a blessing. But Joe, you have an event coming up, and it's locally here in Long Island. And if people aren't in Long Island, they probably can help donate in some way. But can you share this event that's coming up on May 14th, Saturday?
Yes, absolutely. So in 2020, I became a board member for the Spina Bifida Association of New York. This organization affects people, kids, adults, families that are affected with spina bifida. It's an outreach program. It's a research program, and it's up in Albany. And being down on Long Island, I was able to kind of expand their reach a little bit. You know, down on Long Island and New York City area, May 14th is National Spina Bifida Walk and Roll Day. So the chapters, about 30 chapters across the United States on that day, have a charitable walk and roll. And I was able to convince my colleagues upstate in Albany that I could do something down here and on Long Island. I have a lot of, you know, influential friends that are in the right places. And on May 14th, we will be at Field 1 at Eisenhower Park for a 1 mile walkathon. We'll have some raffles and some entertainment and barbecue. And we're going to learn a little bit about spina bifida and what it means to have spina bifida and what it means to overcome spina bifida.
And I guess when you see people come together for the association, it's going to be a day of empowerment, of advocacy, but laying out the groundwork that you may want to do in the future to help others. And this is one way, a big way, to get people together to understand how challenging it is, but how when you have a bunch of people that can advocate together, like we were talking before, Miriam, it takes a village to get people together to make change, to make a movement. I think that's what you're doing, right, Joe?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm doing, Steve. That's what I want to do. It's just, Spina Bifida down on Long Island. It's not very well. It's out there. It's prevalent, but the public doesn't know about it. So this walk and roll on May 14th will hopefully put it on the front pages. I do have News 12 coming to do a story on us, so hopefully that will help us out.
Well, Joe, thank you for spending a few minutes with us. How can people get a hold of you, or if they're not in the New York area, they can't go to that walk on the 14th, can they reach out to you or somewhere to make a donation or to learn a little bit more about what you're doing in the future?
Yes, we have a website. It's www.spinini, SB as in boy, A as in apple, N as in Nancy, E as in elephant, N as in Nancy, Y as in yellow, Spinini.org. And that will give all the information about who we are, what we do, why we do it, and whether or not people want to register for the walk either here on Long Island or up in Albany or anywhere else they might be across the United States, or they can donate.
Well, Joe, thank you very much. I can't wait to see you on the 14th. I'll be there, part of the entertainment and supporting you in your efforts. And we want to thank you for joining us. And I think, Miriam, you got a new friend, huh?
Yeah, Jared's just getting here to the studio, so she's getting set up.
Okay. But you got a new friend in Joe, I meant.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I didn't have the sound on. Yes, Joe, we're friends now.
All right.
Joe, and I got to tell you, I don't know exactly when you're gonna jump off here, but before you go, I think your story is such an inspiration to so many people, and it shows people that you can totally overcome anything. And by staying active and interested and overcoming all the obstacles and barriers that life may throw at you, you have managed to stay super happy. And that's such a great lesson for people for Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done.
The only time I see Joe not happy is when the Mets lose or the Islanders lose. He gets very unhappy when that happens.
Yeah.
Don't say it.
I won't say. I couldn't go the whole interview not saying it, Joe. I couldn't do it. Joe, God bless you, man. We know we love you, and you take care of yourself, all right?
Yeah, God bless.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Steve. Love you.
All right.
Miriam.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
That's Joe Salonika. Before we go to the top of the hour news, I think we got Anna's creation on our Frankie Valli happy birthday. Let's check it out.
Silhouettes JV podcast, the deep dive podcast into Jersey boys, which of course could not have happened without you. We're wishing you the happiest birthday, and we have a little song for you.
Oh, we're just here to say happy birthday. We hope you have a great day with your fiancé. You know that life is fast, don't think about the past. Go on and make it last, and don't you worry about a thing. Happy birthday, Frankie! A salud!
We love you! A salud!
When one thinks about Newark, New Jersey, a few things come to mind. Frank Sinatra, Bruce Springsteen, Bon Jovi. But who's Frankie Valli? The originator of the falsetto. You thought it was Barry Gibb. But no, it's time to actually give recognition to one of New Jersey's own. Someone who, through his music, lyrics, and concerts, have inspired each and every one of us to never forget who we are, where we come from, and to always find a way to pay it forward.
To the great Frankie Valli, a happy birthday. I've been listening to your music and watching your performances all my life, myself and my older brothers. So from the Grafsteins and Raffanellos of Newark, New Jersey, thank you for all the great music and have a very healthy and happy birthday.
I want to wish Frankie Valli a blessed birthday. I grew up with him. My dad used to always play his records, and I would hear it every Saturday and Sunday morning. So I wish him many blessings on his birthday, and happy birthday, Frankie.
Happy birthday, Frankie.
Hola, Frankie. This is Jackie Nunez from 77 WABC Entertainment Latino, and it's a Latin thing on Remember Then Radio and Genesis Radio. Also, the Goodfellas Do Up and More Club. Latin Waves on the Chapters Network. We all want to wish you a happy, blessed birthday. And from the Latino community, we love you. Mucho amor. Feliz cumpleaños.
Happy birthday to the one and only legendary Frankie Valli. Happy birthday, man. His former New York Yankee bat boy, Luigi Squeegee, from 1998 to 2005. Your music has got me through some tough times, and I appreciate you, all your work, brother, and wishing you nothing but the best and happiness that you deserve. Frankie Valli.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dig City.
FM 102.3.
WZHR, Zephyr.
Many years ago at the Casa de Ora, you think I was Mitzi Gaynor. You said I reminded you of Mitzi Gaynor. But anyway, have a happy birthday. We're all getting older, but we're getting better. So have a good one.
I'm Mr. Valli. My name is Anna, and I just want to wish you a wonderful, happy, and blessed birthday. As a fellow Jersey girl from Newark, honestly, your music has transcended beyond generations, and it's extremely timeless. And as a Latina, I can definitely tell you that every time I talk about your music, people are just surprised. Really am appreciative of the artist that you are, always being real to fans, even on stage. And honestly, your music has helped me become the person that I am today. When I lost my sibling, your music also helped me walk this path of life on my own with my head held up high. So thank you for teaching many of us how to be proud of who we are and where we come from. Keep doing you, and I wish you many more years to come. Again, happy birthday. Many blessings. God bless you.
Hi, it's Helen from Chapters Network, Positive Space. Hi, Frankie. Just wanted to wish you a very happy birthday and thank you for all the great music. Happy birthday.
Hi, Frankie. My name is Ashley, and I'm the host of Teen Talk here on our network.
And I'm Tyler Gianchetta, host of the Youth Hero Show on Chapters Network.
And actually, we're also duet partners.
In fact, we made a special one just for you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Frankie. Happy birthday to you. We love you, and cheers to many, many more. Rock on.
And Florida was amazing, so we know how hard you can rock. And it was an amazing concert. One of the best I've ever been to.
Yes.
Thank you, and thank Robbie for the experience. Looking forward to another one.
We love you.
Happy birthday, and we love you.
Mwah.
Hi, Frankie. Happy birthday. Michael Gianchetta. I'm the executive director at Chapters Community Support Services, also Tyler Gianchetta's father. We had the pleasure of seeing you down in Florida at the theater. It was an amazing experience. Thank you so much. Huge fan. Brought tears to my eyes thinking of my parents and their love for each other and the love of your music and the history and the experience that it reminded me of. So thank you for all you do, and thank you for letting us steal some of Robbie's time and helping us do what we do, and we appreciate your support, his support, and everything that we do to help others. We thank you and we love you, and keep doing what you're doing. We love it. Happy birthday, enjoy, and we hope to see you again soon.
Happy birthday, Frankie Valli. 88 years young. God bless you. You continue to put out that great music that inspires so many people for decades. You and your tight, great band, including Robbie Robinson, your unbelievable musical director for over 44 years. It's a pleasure and a blessing to see you up on stage after all this time. I've seen three great legends in concert. Paul McCartney, of course, Stevie Wonder, and the great Frankie Valli. Those experiences I'll never, ever forget. God bless you for all those beautiful memories and the great music that you put out. See you back maybe at Radio City in a couple of days. God bless.
But you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music. It's where you are. Somewhere there's heaven. How near, how far. The darkest night would shine.
Hey, Frankie. Nicky Jr. back in Jersey. I wanted to wish you on behalf of myself and family, happy birthday, Frankie. That ain't that bad, right? Anyway, you've been a big part of my family, and a big part of my life. I just wanted to say thank you. And many more, Frank, many more. I know you're going to perform for many more years. And keep it up. I'll talk to you. See you backstage one of these days. God bless you, Frankie. I love you.
And if you would come to me soon, until you will, how still my heart, how high the moon.
Wow, what an unbelievable tribute, Anna. We want to thank you so very much for putting that video together. I know you've been a lifelong Frankie Valli fan. You're both from New Jersey. And I know as a special treat for him to see that on our nonprofit network here, Chapters Community Support Services Network, where we continue to pay it forward. And Anna, great job behind the scenes, technically, and the amazing work that you do and the friendships that and who you inspire. Because Anna, you're inspiring so many people at your young age, and to do the work that you're doing. Continue to do that, because your career is just taking off now. And I personally want to thank you so very much. And Bobby, thanks for navigating the ship today. And we have
Entrepreneur Opportunity Hour every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. There's nothing more rewarding than starting your own business. Gene and Mr. Dukes will bring you tips and advice from themselves and other entrepreneurs that will help you get started. Have you already started your own business? Then call in and share your story to help other entrepreneurs. That's the Entrepreneur Opportunity Hour every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Tampa Bay's Tan Talk. Entertaining and informative radio for the Sunshine State.
Join. Love tree. All around now. Join in. Love ride.
Wow, this is our second hour of the Chapters Rap Wednesday Night Live here. We're here every Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. If you want to jump aboard this love train, just like the OJ said, 727-441-3000. That's 727-441-3000. You can check us out on the live stream, www.tantalknetwork.com, or you can go to the Chapters Rap with Steve Vicari's Facebook page or YouTube channel. And Miriam, did you happen to check out that video that Anna put together?
Impressive. Steve, it was awesome. Anna is unbelievable.
Right?
Yeah. I know she
I-
must be listening, but yeah, Anna, it's seriously well done. Good job.
She's definitely listening. She's definitely listening. But we have a couple of exciting guests on the show. So why don't you kind of lead the way here on our first guest in the second hour here?
All right. Well, I am here with Jared Clark.
Hello, Miriam. Hello,
Hi.
Steve. Nice to be here again with you all.
Yeah.
It's so awesome that you've joined us. Really fantastic. And we were going to have Carmen Miller join us. I'm not really quite sure when Carmen's going to jump on, but Jared Clark, we are so blessed that Jared's on the show with us again. Look how beautiful she is. And she got a voice to match.
Thank you. I'm becoming a regular.
That's right. That's
I
right.
loved it so much last time that I was like, yeah, of course I'll come back.
Yeah.
I got a quick question for you, Jared. How do I curl my hair like that? How do I
Yes.
curl my hair like that?
I have curly hair, but I bought a curling iron for the first time in my life, and I don't know. It's going too well, I think.
It's beautiful.
It's really, really cool. And we thank you so very much for wanting to be part of what we're doing. And we want to be part of what you're doing. For people that are just tuning in for the first time, why don't you share a little bit of who you are and why you do the things you do?
Absolutely. Well, I'm definitely an artist to my core. I'm primarily focused on music and songwriting right now. And why I do what I do is that I spent a majority of my lifetime being a humanitarian behind the scenes and wanting to do music that really touched people's hearts and that I considered could be, uplifting and could help change the world. But that was not very well recognized in the mainstream pop music record labels and such. So I broke away from those and went completely independent so that I could actually keep my own personal integrity in, say what I wanted to say, and also feel that I was actually making a positive difference in the world.
And talk about an inspiration, and you're just fighting for freedom.
I'm fighting for freedom, and it's a good time to do so, I think.
Yeah.
And although I always did want to be a humanitarian, for me, I didn't know exactly what that looked like because obviously there's so many different lanes that one can go down with regards to that. But I did feel spiritually pushed in this direction because though there were certain things I was never really going to talk about or certain things I was never going to get involved with, I felt that I almost had the duty to do so at this time because remaining quietly on the sidelines was not going to help mankind. So now I do sing about freedom and human rights and things that are going on in the world, but also about hope and, have some songs that I'm writing right now looking towards the future for when we win the day.
Yeah, right? Because good will prevail.
I believe it will.
Right? Isn't that right, Steve? Are you there?
Oh,
Goodwill,
definitely. Goodwill will prevail.
Goodwill will prevail. It must. That's the only way.
That's right. I mean, right now, it is a challenging time for so many people, not just here in the country, but, overseas. You see what's going on in Ukraine, and there's a lot of heartache. There's a lot of adversity. There's a lot of pain. And Jared, how do we start to even overcome this? How do we make goodwill prevail? How do we hang on to hope? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are challenged with having hope at this point.
Yeah, that's actually a great thing to bring up because I think that even for myself, as one starts to get educated about what's really going on, I think in the world today, sometimes even just to hear the news and to see the imagery, even though you must know and able to act, but I think it can be a bit overwhelming. So for me, I do simple things. Like I actually do take time to spend really good, cherished moments with friends. I go on walks every single day, and I keep balanced between what I know my limits of what I can intake and what I have to output. So I might intake some things that are negative so that I can do something about it. And then I get extremely creative about it. And I tend to try to also focus on the good that's going on because there's a lot of good going on in the world right now. And although that might sound, very fairy tale-ish, I think it's something that we have to do.
Sure. Like shine the light on the good things that are going on.
Yeah.
Right?
In fact, it's so funny that you just said that. There was a woman that saw me perform recently. I just did part of the Save a Generation tour, which was going on in Florida with all of the biggest doctors and scientists coming together to fight for human rights with regards to the mandates on the vaccines.
Right.
And there was a woman at one of them named Mary, and I don't remember her last name right now. I actually put her link on my page. She wrote the most beautiful article I've ever read that literally is entitled Find the Light. And it is
Oh.
about exactly what we're talking about right now, that even in getting the information, it can bring you down to actually open your eyes to all that's going on in the world. And the whole thing was just about, it was very beautiful. And she talked about my performance in it, which made me cry my face off because it was just about that while we are going through this journey together, we also have to make it extremely important to find the light in each other, in the world, in the moments, in the children, in the beauty that's around us, in the sunset, like whatever it is that you have to do. Listen to beautiful music, read beautiful literature while you are also engaged in the fight. But take a break every now and then. You have to.
Yeah, well, it's definitely important to recharge our batteries, right? I mean, it's important to go out and fight, but then when we get beat down, we have to have a way to recharge, right?
Absolutely. And like you reminded me yesterday, because Miriam is my friend and we were at an incredible establishment together called CCHR, getting some knowledge about human rights and things like that. She reminded me that it is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. And
Right.
part of even the freedom fighters, you guys have to take care of your own mental health as well. And I think that it's good to find balance. As
Yeah.
basic as that sounds, it is crucial.
Yeah, definitely. It's crucial.
Yeah.
It's very crucial.
Yeah, balance. I mean, that's a key word, balance, because sometimes people lose their balance and sometimes people get swayed in one direction and that kind of pushes them away. So that balance that you talk about, you need to get away. You need to take a walk. You need to listen to music like you just said, because without that balance, it's hard to help others. You have to be, your internal resources have to be stable and strong before you can help others. So I hear what you
Absolutely.
guys are saying, and I think that's an important message that we're all trying to convey.
Yeah. And if I may inject just one more thing that I find extremely helpful personally, when I am kind of inflowing negativity, I find that the best way to handle things for myself is I must get purpose driven as well. Instead of just watching it all, I have to find something that I can do. And whether that's something I can do on a big scale or something that I can do just by going out and seeing somebody in need and helping them load their groceries into their car, finding someone that's on a walk that might not look like they're doing so well and actually stop to talk to them and say, hello, how are you today? Anything you can do.
Yeah,
help
sure.
a neighbor, help your family.
Right.
Help.
Yeah. Just help.
And honestly, when I am at my very, very lowest, sometimes I just start going, okay, what can I do to help anyone, anything in my immediate environment, on the internet, my friends, my family, the other freedom fighters? Just find a way to do something to help. You will feel better.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Yeah, it's very true. It is. It's very true. It's very important, right? To not get like so down in all the bad news, right? Because see, we were talking earlier about how things are really polarized. It's almost like it's like this and then this, and there's sparks going off or something.
Right.
So sometimes we have to get above it or take a break from it.
Absolutely.
Right,
To be able
right.
to go back in with our battle gear and advocate for those that need us. If it's mental health reform, if it's artist advocacy, like you're working on doing, if it's all of the issues that you are helping so many people with, Steve, it's important to take a break or get above it somehow.
Right. No doubt. I was talking about this with a client yesterday that you can work 40 hours a week. You can do this, and that, but you have to have that balance. You have to have that target to look forward to something. If it's a concert or a sporting event or going to a movie or date night with your spouse or something, you have to have that carrot. You have to have that goal that in your mind, or write it down and make sure you do that. Because without doing that, if you continue to live life without helping yourself, you'll never be able to help others.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I mean, we get so much joy from Jara's music and hopeful artistic creations that we have a joy of being around and listening to. And that's why I love being connected to you.
Thank you.
Because
you.
Yeah, well, because music is what binds us together. And it's what generations of people are built upon, right? I mean, we're dancing, we're singing. It's a joyful occasion that brings us together.
Oh, definitely. Music is extremely powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the most pervasive and powerful art form on the planet. If you really look at how deeply music is just involved in everything. It's in your headphones, it's in your car, it's in the supermarket, it's at the gym, it's in the movies, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing is people should just be creative when they're feeling down, you know?
Yeah.
In any way, if whether they're a professional singer or not, or a professional artist, if doing something creative, if doing a craft, if writing a poem is helpful, it's amazing what that can do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, talking about mental health awareness, it's a very good lesson for us to focus on, Steve, is that, you know, if people take a break and then create something that brings joy to themselves and brings joy to people around them, then it kind of gets the bad part of the mind to just quiet down a little bit.
Take a little break.
and you know what? When we're talking about mental health awareness month, and sometimes people feel the need to have an answer or have results or something, or have that, you know, advice for somebody. But guess what? Just simply listening to that person might be just enough what that person needs. Just attending, just saying, "Hey, how are you doing today? Can I help you with this? You know, I see that you're not feeling well, or you're not smiling." Just reaching out to someone, or someone says, "Have a nice day," or "How are you doing today?" Actually respond, stop what you're doing, make eye contact, and have a brief conversation with that person. Sometimes that's all it takes to turn somebody's day around and ultimately change a life around if you keep doing that day after day.
That is very true. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I've actually seen the effects of that. The truth is that you absolutely never know what another person could be going through in a day, in a week, in a month, and just the tiniest act of kindness can go very, very far.
It makes a really big difference, right? And then, you know, whatever they're going through, they don't necessarily mean to be rude, right? They just have whatever challenges going on in their life, and like maybe their positive energy is a little bit low and they are a bit snappy, and then they accidentally say something they shouldn't have, and then somebody else takes it very, you know, seriously, and then next thing you know, we have this big argument going on, when really, if we could just be all a little bit more peaceful and realize that somebody has something going on in their life and just not to take it personally, it would definitely help, I think.
Yeah, kindness is never the wrong answer, I think.
Yeah, kindness is always the right answer, right, Steve?
Except in very extreme situations, but still, I think I don't think you can err too much on the side of kindness.
Right, smiling, kindness.
Yeah.
Turn the other cheek, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And Jara, when you're performing up on stage, that connection you have with people in the audience, I mean, it probably doesn't get better than that, right? But after the concert, or after the performance, do you reach out to people? Do you talk with them individually? And how are those conversations?
Those are the best, in all honesty. So like I was saying last time I was on the show, that I was going to make an effort to really start performing live a lot more again, especially since the shutdown and everything, all of that got wiped out for me. And just to jump back on stage and do these last performances for the Medical Freedom Tour, the Save a Generation Tour, was so amazing. And being purpose driven in that room, the audience was immediately in touch, which was amazing. And then afterwards, I probably stayed around for about 3 hours. I can't tell you which is the best part, the performance itself or afterwards actually getting to connect with people. And I have a whole stack of cards and I reach out to every single one of them, because that's what it's about. You're making a real human emotional connection. Yeah. So that's why that article that I mentioned before, written by Mary, I think her name is I can't remember her whole name. It's on my page, amap.2/Jara. I don't know if that link is going to be up anywhere. amap.2/Jara. I put her article up there because it was such an exchange of my art influenced her. And then she decided to have this outpouring about it. And she wrote this incredible article, which then in return touched me so deeply that I was in tears. And now we've exchanged information and we're going to stay in touch.
awesome.
Yeah, as two human beings, like we will go and get coffee. I'm connected to her now.
It's beautiful. I love that you're singing and doing events where it's bringing people together. And, I know different people feel differently about the medical freedom events, but me personally, I think it's awesome because it focuses on human rights, right? And like whichever side of the fence you happen to be on, you like vaccines or you don't like vaccines, you still deserve a choice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I think that we've talked about that as well, Miriam, just personally, that I tend to, my main platform right now, and I think a lot of things can kind of be boiled down to
Human
the
rights.
premise of human rights, because so many other things are very polarizing right now, but human rights are not. We actually have just inalienable human rights.
Yeah.
And it also has been codified many years ago by the UN. So you don't have to argue with me. It's actually already been written. It's a worldwide codified subject.
Yeah, definitely.
In fact, Miriam has some of them written down right here.
Yeah, I mean, I read one of them earlier, and I think it's a really good one to kind of go over and over so that we all just really think with it. It's all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Right? So
Beautiful.
It's just kindness and respecting one another and allowing somebody to be themselves.
Right. And I think, actually today, I was in a conference with some Holocaust survivors.
Wow.
And which was very, very powerful. And you talk about human rights,
Mhm.
and you hear
Being smashed.
Yeah, you hear the testimonies of two people that survived the Holocaust in their 80s now, and to
Wow.
hear them talk and to feel that pain, but also to feel their passion and energy to want to share that experience with others, so that experience or that event never happens again, or to keep that legacy alive, is so very important. And I think that's the true definition of advocacy, because we all have to advocate for human rights, for what is right and what is not right. And when it's not right, we have to stand up and as a group, as a village, as a whole,
Right.
to change those things, to change that. And that's why I'm in it. To do,
Yeah, definitely. That's why we're in it together, right? To align forces and talk out and spread the word and have fun listening to music while we do it and protect artists.
Yeah, and Steve, I think that's very important that subject matter is actually coming up right now, and that those voices from the past are heard, because I'm just going to say it. I'm as a, when I was growing up learning about that whole subject matter, the thought in my mind was, how did anyone ever let that happen?
Right.
How did that get to that point?
I know.
And I do believe we are in a time in history again where we are starting to see how that happened. And luckily right now,
it's evil control and unfortunately some pretty nasty communistic regime people.
Of course, but it's also one little tiny infringement of one right at a time.
Oh, sure.
So the thing is it doesn't all come on an onslaught. It's being taken away little by little. But now it's really wonderful that we are in a time where people are becoming more aware of that. And I believe that we will not let history repeat itself, because people are much more enlightened now and they're watching for it. So I think it's an important subject matter of comparison to then and now.
And
Right,
Jared,
just making
well
sure
said.
that, communism doesn't just leak in and then start taking things away. Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
Steve, what were you
Jared,
going to say?
I'm sorry, that's well said, because bit by bit, small piece by small piece, all of a sudden it adds up to this big thing.
That's
but
right.
We have to recognize, acknowledge those little components and stop them each and every time, so that the human rights can be supported and heard and activated at those moments.
Yeah, and I do believe that they are. I really do. With everything, the people that I'm fighting with, the people that you are all fighting with, the doctors coming together, the people fighting within legislation, people are not just laying down quietly and letting this happen. And I do believe that we have brighter days ahead. We are making a huge shift right now.
Yeah.
And that's why, Miriam, that's why we're doing this kind of show here, because there are brighter days ahead, but we have to lead the way, either through music, talk shows like this, or just the energy around us. We have to convey that to others. And if we don't do that, then we're not teaching our children well. We're not teaching the young people in society what they need to do to pass on.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
others as well.
Yeah, us as individuals, we can't get lazy and stand back, right? Any sort of reasonability or laziness that maybe we have, or like, oh, I don't want to look at it because I don't really know what to do about it. Find out what to do about it, and then, you know, figure out how to reform that area, bring awareness to that area. I mean, you know, that my area of reforming is mental health, because unfortunately there's atrocious human rights violations in the area of mental health. So that happens to be like my very focused area of advocacy, but there's many different areas that exist within our nation that deserve the light shined on it. I mean, you know, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And unfortunately, right now, we live in a nation that has millions and millions of people on psychiatric medication, and, you know, a large majority of kids, unfortunately, millions of kids in the US. And I really just want to shine the light on that in hopes that we come together as a community and change that, so our future looks better and kids are healthier and happier.
And some of those kids, some of those young people with mental illness or struggling with some sort of challenge are incarcerated for the wrong reasons, and they're not getting the treatment or the help or even the time of day to really understand what they're going through.
Right, Steve, I know, you're so right. I mean, when we start talking about the juvenile justice system, it's just like, oh man, you know? Yes, we do. We have a lot of work to do.
And we're doing it.
That's right.
That's true.
But it's all about the music. You don't sing,
Yeah, that's
Miriam.
right.
I don't sing. But
Well,
Jerry,
I mean, I could sing. I mean, I could sing for you, you know, and I don't know who would listen, but
I would listen, Miriam. I love you.
And hey, Steve, before we put on Jared's song that is so beautiful, I just want to let you know that Steve Cherubino is in the studio with us now, and he is set up. So I don't know if you noticed him walking in, but there he is up there. So Steve, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is very, very cool, very fun. And, you guys are doing a great thing.
I like you already, Steve. I like the first name, so that's good.
It's a good name, isn't it?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. And Miriam, I gotta say, you know, I've been doing radio and TV for almost 10 years now, and I like to see you in that lead. You're in the studio conducting things. I kind of like it because someone else is doing it tonight.
She's great, Steve, but I mean, I love you both. You're both great.
Yeah, no, but
Go
Miriam,
team.
This is fun.
But Miriam, I got to give it to Miriam. I mean, she's jumping into the fire right away. She's taking it all in, and she's drawing from that advocacy experience and to do what she hasn't done before, but she's killing it.
Oh, well, thank you, Anna. That was sweet. Hilarious. It was that Bobby. Oh my gosh. Hilarious.
Yeah, Bobby and Anna, they're always on it.
It's both of us.
Okay, perfect. There you go.
By the way, Bobby and Anna are the behind the scenes with all the wonderful imagery and the sound effects going on. So
And people should know, not too many people are doing live radio and live stream at the same time. So there are some glitches for people listening, they can't see, people seeing, they can't listen. But we're trying to get it all together. And with what Bobby and Anna do, it's amazing. But Jared, can you segue this song that we're going to hear tonight?
yeah, which one is it this time?
I have Fringe Minority ready.
Great. I mean, that's my jam right now. That's my freedom fighting single. And, you know, the term fringe minority was obviously introduced by Trudeau in Canada when the truck rally was going on. But I loved that term so much because I was like, aren't all the freedom, just the way that term was used about being, you know, this is just a fringe minority. This is not the majority of the people. And I was like, but we are the majority.
Yeah.
So we are all kind of sarcastically the fringe minority. And it really is just a freedom fighting song, not about any particular freedom in general. Anybody fighting for any form of freedom anywhere in this world, this is their anthem. And I also just want to make a plug. Hey, Trump, you can totally use this song for your rallies. Okay. Just going to put that out there.
Okay.
All right, Jared.
Check it out.
Of the people marching everywhere, and now you should know that we are not going anywhere. Can you feel us now? We minority. Whoa, whoa. Now you see the fringe minority. After taking everything we had, now we gonna take it back. Everybody watching as we take a stand. And you thought that you could take us out, now we gonna take it down. It's the final act, better take a bow. Can you hear the voices of the people marching everywhere? And now you should know that we are not going anywhere. Can you feel us now? Bring it back in town. No, we won't turn around. Now you see the fringe minority. Can you hear the sound? Hear the sound of cloud. Yes, sing it loud. Now you see the fringe minority. The bells are ringing out and victory is calling. The saints go marching down, the whole world is watching. And the bells are ringing out and victory is calling. And the saints go marching down, the whole world is watching. Can you feel us now? Feel us now, back in town. Now you see the fringe minority. Can you feel the sound? Hear the cloud. Hear the sound. Now you see the fringe minority. Whoa. Now you see the fringe minority.
Perfect.
And the crowd goes wild. What a
There
great
you go.
song. What a
Thank
great
you
song.
guys. You guys are the bestest.
You know, so Jara, when you put lyric, and we talked about this last week or the week before, but it has to come from the heart. You have to own that song. Any artist, correct? You have to own that song, and the music that you put out there, you're owning it and you're sharing it.
Absolutely. I mean, I've always written anything from a very true place. Well, except for when I was writing for other people, and then I tried to find their true place and write for them. But I definitely believe in being transparent and being real, because when you're representing yourself and your own true beliefs, it just comes across differently. It communicates differently. I think people can really feel you, you know?
Right.
So I definitely wrote that song with an incredible intention and depth of emotion that I was feeling when I started it.
Right.
They're
And,
just getting these other guys set up here.
Yeah, I see that. So we're this is the Chapters Wrap Wednesday night live here. We're here every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. And we're here at Tan Talk Network, which covers Clearwater, St. Petersburg, and Tampa area, and potentially up to 3.5 million people. So we need those callers to call in, 727-441-3000. You can listen to this show also on www.tantalknetwork.com. or the Chapters Wrap with Steve Vicari's Facebook page or YouTube channel. And this show is edited and then put onto Cablevision here in New York and soon to be in Florida. So, I mean, this show, we're trying to provide a bigger platform. And Jara, for you to come on board is really helping us grow a little bit more, because it's very important to hear your point of view, but the message that you put out there.
I really appreciate that. And I'm honored to be a part of it. Finding my own voice in this movement. I first found it through music and then very quickly realized there was more that I wanted to say. So I am,
freedom.
Yeah. And I'm just so honored that you guys are, allowing me to be a part of it. But not only that, truly that you've provided a safe space to where we can actually openly share these ideas. Because after being, shut down on social media all the time and wondering which words I can say and what I can't say, I mean, I really don't care anymore. I get shut down anyway. But it's so nice to just be able to speak and share one's ideas, all in the purpose of helping and inspiring others to find their voices as well.
That's right. And Jara, in the studio, we have another person there. Can you share a little bit with our listeners and viewers who that guest is.
Yeah, definitely. It's Steve Cherubino. And before we go on, Steve, I just wanted to do a special commendation of you because you've set up this safe space for us, like Jared said. And also, some people may not realize or talk about it very often, but basic human rights actually have to do with freedom of speech, right? And so being able to have like an area to communicate and say what you'd like to say and feel the way that you feel and, advocate for what you think is important is quite a service, Chapters Wrap. So let's give it up for Chapters Wrap.
Yeah, truly.
Well, thank you, because, with the people that come on board, it grows and grows and grows each week. And you have another guest right in front of us because
yes, Steve.
So Miriam. So when we started this, I was getting the guests, and now you're getting the guests, and see how it's growing and growing and growing. And a month or 2 or 3 months down the road, we're going to have a whole network of people that we didn't have before because of this platform, because of what you do, what Jared does. And this gentleman here that's going to share his story with us right now. Right, Steve?
Absolutely. It's not just me here, though. I brought our bass player, Katie Nagy, with us.
Okay.
And
hello, how are you? I'm kind of off the mic, but hi.
No, we're going to shift around here for a minute. Miriam, you want to share my camera over here? Yeah.
And people that are listening, you're hearing the different guests that we have on, but people that are watching, Tan Talk Network does a great job. And what we wanted to do is personalize it a little bit more. So everybody's brought on laptops so that you can see each other a little bit more closely and understand the nonverbal and the verbal gestures that occur during a normal conversation. We wanted to make it like we're sitting around a table so you could see the expressions of each person. That's why we're tinkering with this idea of everybody bringing laptops into the studio so we can get a better picture of who that person is, which would help advocate and empower others down the road.
She's over here. There you are.
I can't really see.
Okay, for anyone listening on the radio, we're just kind of shuffling about and sharing microphones and grabbing cameras to try to get everybody on the live stream here.
Yeah, I'm just going to move it down just a little bit.
I think we have it.
Yeah, there you go. It's perfect.
So Steve, talk about what you do with our viewers and listeners, because it's live streamed, it's live radio. So kind of share a little bit of what you both do.
Okay, well, we're in a pop punk band that we recently launched, and our goal with this music is to uplift people, get them a little out of their head and not stuck in their problems and thinking of bad solutions on how to handle their problems, but to kind of like raise them up to the point where they feel good and maybe use just able to live life a little bit better through the music. That's the goal with our music. I'm the lead guitarist and singer. Katie here is the bass player, but I'll let her introduce herself.
Okay.
I just started playing bass about 3.5 months ago, and I'm in this band, and we've written music and we've done covers, and we sat down one day and looked at each other and said, with this music, with this band, we can do so much. We can make people, like Steve was saying, kind of come out of whatever they're in, and we want to change the world with our band. That's really what's underneath everything.
And I also want to say we realized that because with just us playing, we felt so good after every practice and every time we played that it's just like a magic drug. You know what I mean?
It's amazing. It's amazing what create can do, huh?
Yeah, when you create, no matter what problem you have that day, it just goes away.
And there's days that both of us go, we have to play. We don't have time. No, I'm coming over. We're playing because we want to have that. Mm-hmm. And we sit there and we'll look at each other and we'll go, we're putting this out into the universe. It's just in the room, no one else is listening, but we know that it's going out there because this is our intention. This is what we're doing with it. This is what we want.
It's better than going to the gym.
Yeah, or to a bar, right?
Exactly.
Right,
Hey, can I tell you guys a little cute backstory? I know Katie.
Sure.
Yes,
and
we met
I
a while
friends,
ago.
yeah.
She went away back to LA, came back, and we just reunited. What was it, 2 days
2 days ago.
So 2 days ago at a function that I was singing for, she was like, hi. I was like, oh, Katie, I lost you.
I know.
And then she told me this whole story about how she's playing bass, and I'm just sitting here, and Katie walks in, and I love it. I love this community that's being built.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
So, Katie, you just started playing bass 3.5 months ago?
Yes, I did. And I have always wanted to play. And we have a mutual friend who said, oh, in our band, we lost our bass player. And I just go, I want to play. And he goes, well, if you buy a bass and if you learn how to do it, I said, you got it. So Steve actually went with me. I found one on Facebook Marketplace and I went down and I got it. And I said, here, you play it. I don't know how to play this. And he played it. Oh, it sounds good. Okay, I'll buy it. It was, $80. I bought it. And I play all the time. This is my...
Wow, it's amazing. It's a big passion of yours. That's awesome.
I've never seen anybody get that good that fast.
And they are actually very good. I just heard she played me one of your songs on her phone like 2 days ago.
We have it here.
Yeah,
we
they're
can
gonna
play
play
it
it,
tonight.
I'm sure. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are really good.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's really, and the lyrics we write, we sit down, it comes out. And it's because we want to affect the world. I mean, we have this good intention of, we want to make the world a better place. And I think when you tap into that, that's really when things happen. And I've had some bad days in the last few months. I'm not going to speak for Steve, but I know that when I get together, when we write a song, I learned something new. I was picking, if you know what, take a pick. Mm-hmm. You can pick and then you can pluck. And I had hurt my wrist really bad. And I was like, oh no, because I was playing it too hard with the pick. So I said, okay, I'm going to start plucking now. I'm going to pluck it. And so here I was playing and I'm like, I learned something new, and I feel so happy every time I play.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think you just touched on something important though, if I may, because you said, we all have bad days.
Sure.
Like, we're being very
Yes.
positive right now. And people think that, oh, you're always so positive.
Yeah.
Well, no, we all have bad days. We all have dark moments. So it's important to let people know, hey, that's cool too,
Yeah.
but keep creating, keep pushing through and
it
keep on
gets you
purpose.
out of
It
it.
does get you
Yeah.
out of it. It's not all sunshine and rainbows every day.
It's
We're all aware of that.
It's a very
Yeah.
important lesson for
Yeah.
Mental Health Awareness Month, right, Steve?
No
You
doubt.
know? Listen, we lose people, we have bad days, and then what? You know?
That's right. But some of the greatest songs are written from dark moments, hard times in life, right? So you got to tap into that energy. How do you tweak it? How do you pivot to put out good material? I would imagine as musicians, that is a home run when you can do that, when you can pivot away from a dark moment, put it on paper, put it to music, and share that with the masses.
The song that we brought, it's called The Big Shame. And we wrote it. You want to talk about it, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, we wrote it because we weren't really happy with what was going on in the world. And we wanted to kind of show that we weren't in agreement with that. So that's basically where the song came from. And hopefully we could play it in a minute. But I do want to just say, it's something you touched on, Steve. It's like, how do you turn something dark into something good? The way we do it is if we're feeling crappy, we just pick up the instrument and we just do one thing. And then I some days I don't feel like playing or doing anything, but I get through one song and I'm like, all right, let's just do another one. And then another one. And after about 5, it's a done deal. But you could apply that with anything. It's just, you have to start. Starting a lot of times is the toughest part, but just one little step and
true.
you get the momentum going.
Just start somewhere.
Yeah.
And music
That's
just
right.
creates such positive energy, right, Steve? I
That's
love
right.
that. We're sitting here in the studio. Well, you're in New York, right? Yeah, Co-Chapters Rap in New York, but we're down here in Florida, and I'm in the studio with 3 awesome artists. How lucky am I?
I know it's crazy. That's crazy. But Steve, talk about your musical journey to this point, so people get an understanding how you started and how you got to this point in life.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from the MTV era, like when it first started and they were playing music and they were playing guitars and they looked like they were having a lot of fun. So I told my parents, like, I want a guitar, and they eventually bought me one. I was 13 and I took lessons and I sucked really bad at first. And then I got better and better. I just didn't stop because I really wanted it, So it wasn't easy. My fingers hurt and bled and everything was sore, and it's not an easy instrument, guitar. I mean, you could ask Katie, she's going through it right now. So when she goes through some stuff, I totally understand.
You're very understanding.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, I finally got pretty good, and then I started playing in some bands. Went to college, played in a band, but where things I didn't expect was I stopped playing after college. Didn't really do anything, but I'm a computer geek. So one day I heard like some really good electronic music on Sirius XM radio, which I didn't even know that world existed before, like to the degree that I do now. And I got into electronic music really heavily. And I want to say also, you don't have to be able to pick up an instrument like a guitar or a saxophone or anything like that. People are making full albums on their laptops now with music software. It's amazing.
I do.
Super fun. Yeah, right?
I don't play any instruments, but I write a lot of music.
Exactly. And anybody can do this. So I consider everybody a musician.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that for a while until I got tired of looking at a screen, and I picked up the guitar again. Katie came into my life, and then we just started jamming, playing rock music again.
And here we are.
There we are.
What an awesome story. You never gave up. And
No.
You are really good with computers. That's actually
Thanks, Miriam. That's how I know Miriam mainly.
yeah. Oh, good.
That is
Computer
great. So,
engineer and amazing artist.
well, you guys have a song, right? I mean, what are you going to play for us tonight?
We're going to play The Big Shame.
Yeah, we wrote this Super Bowl weekend, and I said, well, sometimes you can't say on the radio the big game, you can't say Super Bowl, so let's call it The Big Game or The Big Shame, and it kind of morphed into that. So this is our song about
The state of affairs.
State of affairs.
State of affairs, yeah.
Just 2 weeks to lock it down, then go one way. Gonna have to trust us now. We do this every day, and this won't make a dent in the economy, you say. And what the hell is freedom anyway? I have to say funny words twice won't be the same. The only thing best is it takes two to play this game. And I'm never ever gonna feel the shame. Giving me the run around, took the ball away. Another clown charge is just the order of the day. So wear this mask and wash your hands and then you'll be okay. And sit back cause the facts is on the way. I have to say only once, twice won't be the same. The only thing best is it takes two to play this game. And I'm never ever gonna feel shame. Happy say only once, twice won't be the same. The only thing best is it takes two to play this game. And I'm never ever gonna feel the shame. Yeah, it's never ever gonna be the same.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Wow.
Go ahead, Katie.
I actually.
Oh, thanks. Listen to that crowd.
I actually played bass on that. So you guys, I started playing bass on January 14th, and we just recorded this a couple days ago. So
Very well done.
Yeah, plays like a pro.
That's incredible. Actually.
That is
It's pretty
amazing.
inspiring, right, Steve? For anybody
Oh, yeah,
listening,
a
they think
couple-
like they can just pick up an instrument and play,
I know.
create. man.
I
Do
gotta.
it.
I can do it. I gotta pick up an instrument now. I got 3.5 months
do it.
to play drums.
Do it.
That's-
Yes.
You can do it.
Yes, Steve.
I can-
do
but you
it
know
on
what?
me.
A couple of weeks ago, we had Rick Wills, who was one of Foreigner's bass guitarists, and he talked about his journey with performing with Foreigner and a couple other bands and Bad Company. And he gave a story about playing the bass guitar. So it's inspiring to hear. You just picked it up and you're running with it. It's awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
Music is amazing. I mean, I've been a music fanatic since I was a kid. That's where all of this started. And I love it so much. And I think when you have a passion, I never stopped playing. I played drums in high school. And even listening to the radio in the car, I'm tapping, I'm listening actively. And I never stopped being a musician, even though I never played since I was 17. And then when this opportunity came about and I bought this bass and I'm looking at it going, I don't even know what am I going to do. And I just played and played and played. I would say Steve and I played 15 hours a week or more.
Yeah.
And I just kept playing at home, go to his house every night. It was like a job.
A fun job.
But isn't there a moral to that? Sorry, I know Miriam, we're sharing this mic.
Yeah.
That is very, very important what you're saying, and what you said also, Steve, is that I think that sometimes people see when others attain greatness, and then maybe they think, oh, I'm so far away from that, I could never be that. But every single person that has ever achieved anything great, any great skill, any great company, anything that's really worth anything, they had to put in a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
You practice, you drill. Sometimes you fail, you hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it didn't go well. You feel defeated. You get back up. That's every leader, every artist, every sports hero that we look up to. And it's in very small increments, day by day by day, that you get better. And I love, Katie, that you just picked it up and said, I'm going to do this now, because it also shows people you don't have to start when you're a kid. You don't have to already be, you can already have a full life, a full career and everything. And one day decide, you know what? There was something I was passionate about and I never fully did it. So just do it.
Yes.
Start and be willing to be terrible at first. Be willing to have that kindness to yourself and say, I might not be great at first. I need to be nice to myself, right? And get through it and get better.
You nailed it, Jarrett. And the thing is, I did not know if I was going to be able to play one note or two notes in a week, in a year. I didn't know.
Neither
and
did
I didn't care. Yeah, exactly.
It is. It's so good for people listening just to know that they can just pick it up, right? And Steve, are you there?
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's amazing, right? They think about it like anybody listening, like, okay, so we know times are tough and there's lots of stuff going on in the world that can be so frustrating and really hard and maybe affect people's mental health in a negative way. And there's people experiencing trauma and people experiencing all types of things, right? As we know, but we can just take a step away from that and then just start something new, like creating music to create positive energy.
So I just did the math. Mid-September, I'm going to come into the Tan Talk studio with a drum kit and play drums.
Nice. That's a good goal.
I know a guitar player and a bass player.
Steve, maybe I'll sing with you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Band.
So Bobby, you got to clean out a little bit because the drum kit's pretty big in there. So we got.
I know. I gotta make a lot of room here, or we'll have to do it outside at a remote or something like that. Run a really long line.
We're gonna need more microphones.
But guys, where do you guys perform? And I know during the pandemic it shut everything down. We were all kind of isolated. Are you guys performing? You guys gigging? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, we have 2 gigs coming up. One is on May 21st. It's called Art in the Park. It's happening here in Clearwater. I don't know the exact address.
Isn't it off of Drew and MLK? There's a park there.
Right,
Look online for it. And I've been begging him for details.
They just sent me the flyer on that today.
Good.
Let me look it up for you.
Good.
That'd be great.
So it's Art in the Park, right? There's going to be booths and
There's going to be lots of artists, performers, food trucks, events, kids welcome. It's just going to be a fun outdoor event, and we're going to be playing there. And then we play in Orlando at a festival called Podfest. It's for podcasters. And that's the next week, May 28th in Orlando at Podfest. So if anybody's going to Podfest, you can check us out there. The name of our band, by the way, is Area 52.
That's a working one. We've had many names in the last couple of weeks.
But
so that will be at Plaza Park.
Plaza Park.
There you go, everyone.
In Clearwater at the intersection of like MLK and Drew.
See, Jared's our new PR person right now. So.
Good. We need one.
Can
we hire you, Jared? We need someone.
I just happened to run into the person organizing that event today.
Yay.
Guys, hey guys, it's all going down in Florida right now.
There's a place to be.
That.
It's a place to be.
Well, right after the show, I'm catching a JetBlue flight down to you guys. So
great.
Oh yeah, come on down.
All right, Steve, come on.
But performing in front of a live audience and crowds, that's what it's all about, right, guys?
I've never done it. So I've been playing bass for 3.5 months. So I'm so excited. And so again, with the practice, right? I come over to Steve's every day. And the other day, we usually face each other when we practice. We faced his couch and we put stuff on the couch and we said, this is the audience. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to sort of mock up the audience because we haven't done that before. So yes, I'm a little nervous, but the more we play, the more I go, I'm just going to do what I've always done last 3.5 months and do it in front of people. So I guess, Steve's played in front of people before. Yeah. I really, not since I was in high school. Since I was 17, I haven't played in front of anyone.
Can I make you a suggestion for, going through as a performer and stuff? Scooching. At some of your rehearsals before, you actually go live, I would strongly recommend just invite some friends over and do it in front of real people, because something does sometimes kind of start. It's like a physical reaction sometimes the first time you get in front of an audience, or if you haven't been in front of an audience for a while. Yeah. And just tell them, like, look, be willing to, if you make a mistake, cool, start the song over again. But it might actually help, because there's nothing like doing it in front of people.
Will you come over?
I will totally come over.
Will you be invited and be our first audience member?
In fact, I'll tell you something. I used to watch the Three Tenors in LA. They actually would have people, they'd bus kids in and students and stuff to watch their final tech rehearsals and dress rehearsals.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a wonderful thing. So it helps. Gosh. I'll come over, Miriam.
Please,
and
will you guys come over?
Yeah.
Because
there we go.
There we go.
Really quick, how can people get a hold of you guys?
They go to area52.band. That's a place we just slapped up there that you can find out about all of our future events. Just put your name and email in there, and that's you'll be hooked up.
We'd love to hear from you.
Totally.
All right. Well, next week, guys, check this out. Ricky Bird from Joan Jett and the Blackhawks Band is going to be our special guest. He is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Ricky Bird does a great work with addictions. He hasn't used or used any kind of substance for 34 years, and he pays it forward. All his music is geared to help young people recover. So Ricky Bird is a Hall of Fame guitarist, and he'll be our special guest next week. So guys, stay tuned and check that out.
That's awesome for Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yep.
That's right. And we'll listen to Carly Simon. He made it to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So God
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Big City.
104.3.
Listen.
See at the Federal Reserve.
It's part of its effort to tame inflation and rising costs for Americans.